Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. Joe here with Twofold Gun and Armory, and today's video is going to be a gun stock repair demonstration. This is a timed assignment for FTT213 at Sonoran Desert Institute. So my name is Joseph Marshall. It is August 9th, 2026, right around 9 p.m. And with that being said, let's get started. So the route I've gone is Gouge. I have taken a hatchet and just hit a couple of light times against this wood, and that represents a gouge with some broken fibers in here like so. And today we're going to be repairing it. Now, steam won't work on this because of those broken fibers. What steam does is steam will raise dents, but since they're broken, we actually have to use filler. And so I got my quick wood and I got matching dust, and we are going to go through and repair this. For this gouge, it's purely cosmetic, so filling it in would do the trick. There's no need to reinforce it or anything because it's pretty close to the surface. Just because there's broken fibers, you can't use steam to get rid of it. Mechanical and environmental factors that could cause this, I mean, really, you accidentally banging your rifle against next to anything that's harder than the stock, and a gouge like that could happen. One of the things that comes to mind for me is the Springfield 1903s before they went back and revamped them and created the larger gap behind the tang. That would split more often than not because of the recoil, and so that could even be a factor as to how something like that would come into play. For surface preparation, I went ahead and took a sanding bit for a rotary tool, and I've kind of hollowed out the gouge and got rid of a lot of the broken fibers. However, I did leave some rough areas just for the epoxy to bind to easier and create that stronger bond. All right, so now that our surface preparation is done, I can get into working on the filler. In this case, I have some quick wood by JB Weld, and I'm going to take a little bit of it, and you have to mold it in your hands until it's one uniform color. So we're going to go with that. And this does take a little bit to cure, but it'll typically set in like 20 minutes. The full cure is like an hour though, so, but we got that. All right, and now I'm going to mix in some of the matching wood fibers, and we're just going to push it in place here. I will say that the matching wood grain works so much better with a liquid epoxy versus a putty epoxy, but the quick wood is specifically designed for wood repairs, so it's good about relatively matching, but you might have to refinish or at least blend the finish in that area. So we're going to let that dry. I'm going to find something to properly clamp it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, for clamping, I have just a couple inches on either side of the area. I have a piece of slat wood, and that will hold that epoxy in place while it cures, and then once it cures, we'll be able to go through and sand and whatnot. If it were a deeper gouge, or if there was a lot of grain consideration, there's not really on the side here, but if there was a lot of grain consideration like this, ideally you would want to find a piece that you can use in order to have somewhat similar grain patterns to kind of mask that repair. So for the final result, we have a completely smooth repair that has been filled and sanded down to its original form. From here, you would get into the blending process. And what you would do is you would take that broken piece, if there was a broken piece that was off of it, or you can use a scrap wood like this and put it next to find the right hue, the right color of stain, or whatever the finish that's on the gun stock. That way you can properly start blending them together. Unfortunately, because this doesn't have a finish on it, it's hard for me to blend it all together. It is sound, it is professional, and it is hard and cured. The last part of this video is a professional reflection. The first question is, would I warranty this repair? Why or why not? And the situation depends on whether or not I would warranty it. If it's something small like this minor gouge, yes, I would warranty it, because I don't see any situation where it would weaken the stock overall. If it were a different situation and the damage was much more significant, I would probably not warranty the repair. The second question is, when would I refuse this repair? And really, I don't make it a habit to refuse things, except for when they are out of my scope of practice or what I can confidently do. The third question is, what bedding or stress issues may have caused this damage? And honestly, a minor gouge in that section of the stock, it probably has nothing to do with the bedding itself. It's probably from an impact from an outside source. The last question is, how could improper repair lead to future damage? When you're doing a repair, you actually have to, it's like the old saying, it gets worse before it gets better. You actually have to cut into the area more to prepare it for the repair. So if you do that and then you don't fix it correctly, you are making it structurally weaker overall than when it even came in. And that brings us to the end of this video. Once again, my name is Joe with Twofold Gun and Armory. If you like this video and want to check out some of my others, feel free to visit my page and go ahead and hit that subscribe bell. It's the best way we grow together. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later.